6-seater sofa if you put it vertically. So we'll show you the batteries in a bit. So these batteries, they drive electric motors. There's one in the back on that side and one on that side that sits on a propeller and drives the boat forward. In addition to that, we also have solar panels on the top, which is then fully renewable energy, which we use to power the accommodation. So the air condition and the screens and everything that you will see inside is powered from pure renewable energy. And with the number of sunny days in Singapore, that's no problem of charging them. Another thing you will notice when you take an electric vessel is that it's absolutely quiet. So the vessels you hear now is not these vessels, it's all the other ones out there. This one is just as quiet when we're sailing as it is now. And there's no vibration, so it's very, very nice and silent. Another thing that we have done with this design is that we have designed it with 2 hulls instead of 1. So we have 1 hull over here and 1 hull over there, and underneath where you're standing there's nothing, there's water. So it's a catamaran hull. The reason why we do that is to make the boat more energy efficient, so it cuts through the water in a better fashion, and it's more stable in the water as well. Energy efficiency is the most important thing on an electric vessel. As I said, the batteries are heavy, they weigh 900 kilos each, and that means that all the weight on board this boat we need to push through the water. That means we need to make the boat as light as possible. So we have used aluminium as our material to build the boat, and as you will see inside, even the passenger seats are 3D printed to make them as light as possible. And it's also a very environmental friendly way to produce things, as there's hardly any material waste when we do it. What you will notice when you get inside is that you will start looking for a steering wheel and mechanical buttons. They don't exist on this vessel. So we have built this for the future. We have built this for the young guys out there, the kids that's growing up. We want to attract talent into the marine and maritime environment. As such, you will see that we have touch screens, similar to an iPad. You can control this boat, and we have 2 joysticks, which this vessel is operated with. You have probably heard the words digitalization and autonomous technology. This is something which is very important for this vessel, so we use a lot of digital technology. All the bits and pieces on this boat has a sensor, which is transmitting data back to our operations center in our office, which we then use for optimizing the route planning, for optimizing the vessel and for planning. But we can also use it for operating the vessel from a distance. To assist us with that, we have installed sensor for autonomous operations. So you've heard about autonomous cars, self-driving cars. So this vessel is actually built for doing that in the future. At the moment it's not allowed due to regulations, but it's built for it. So you see on the right corner, in the top mast we have 1 more of those, and then you see there's a lot of cameras, high definition cameras, that we use to identify the surroundings of the boat, together with the traditional radars and so forth. With this, our autonomous system is able to understand what's going on around us, and it's able to predict what's going to happen next. So if there is a boat on our collision course, for example, the captain will be notified and given an option: you should do this or this, and he will be given an option to make a decision. So that's called data-driven decision making. In the future, the boat will act on that himself and avoid a potential hazardous situation. Yeah, I think that's about it from the outside. It's quite hot, so
Go up all the way to the platform.
Wow,
Yes.
it's nice. So, how to control?
Later I'll just show you. I'll just give you a crash course.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can come on in. Then if you can, just move up to the wheelhouse area. I'll just show you exactly what the captain sees when he's operating the vessel. Functional, and the one that is actually darkened is just not working. We open up the circuit. Okay, Next page here is on the batteries. We know that right now we have one battery being connected, providing us aircon, lighting, and all the screen power. Then later on, when we are sailing back to another location, we will be connecting the rest of the batteries to provide us with the propulsion power. Okay, so right here what you can see is all the batteries condition, state of charge, health, whether it's connected, enabled, or disconnected, disabled. Okay, so next one here, these are on all the equipment we have on board. These are all the sensors. We have CO2 sensor, fire detection, smoke detection as such, and heat detection also. This is for the sensors. Then after that we have machinery, we have pumps, fans. These are the ones that are helping with the cooling of the other equipment. The fans will be just the air circulation for the compartments of all the machinery. And we can actually activate it from here. So when it's running, right, you can see that it's either running or it's on local control or remote control, stuff like that. We'll know whether or not you have to go down to switch it, or if not you have to turn it on manually. Okay. Next one here, probably of a bit of interest, will be on the cameras that we have. We have one camera facing in front, 3 cameras facing behind. Reason for so is that the cameras facing behind is mainly to help the captain be able to see his crew and see when the cargo is being loaded onto the deck, and also for him to see if it's actually too close to any of the vessel on the side or stuff like that, for him to make his adjustments, because he will be still seated down there at that seat. He will not be expected to be running around, right? So he will make use of that camera to see, and then after inform his crew for support, right? So we have another camera here, which is of all of us here. This is just for monitoring in case if he's not in a position to turn around and see where's the guys. Okay. So this is all the cameras, and then after that the navigation lights above, we can turn it on remotely from here. Next page that the captain will also see is on the propulsion. The thrusters, which direction they are at, which direction they are at. Here you can see right now the thruster propellers are facing backwards. These units can turn 360 degrees. They can turn all the way around and then turn back again. So this will give the captain enough information on how much power he's pushing in terms of RPM, revolutions per minute, and then the overall speed in terms of knots, and in terms of overall consumption, how much power he's pulling from the batteries. Okay. So this is in kilowatts. Yeah. Then here, once it's all started up, right, it's all green. You will just give him the indication system is ready. You can start.
Okay.
So right now, because we have already deactivated quite a bit of stuff.
Start now.
The system is not prime for starting, just in case if we yes. So okay, so that's for propulsion. Then after that, the rest of the pages here is all on the power distribution. We got different systems at different voltages, different applications. So they will show all the pages. So yeah, they're similar to the power system overview. Okay, so later on, actually we can move on to the other screen there. My colleague from ZBus, Alex, will be able to explain to you more.
A LiDAR is an advanced little radar which gives 3D information about the surroundings. This enables us to see not only large vessels but also small obstacles in the sea. Everything from leaves to kayaks to larger ships can be seen, and the system is then able to give a proposed path for the captain to follow, which basically avoids collisions and takes some mental strain off the captain when he is sailing and navigating. So you can see here, currently you can see all the ships that are around us. Okay, it's not really working, but yeah, the idea is that when we are developing the Hydromover further on, this information about keys that is around us, about ships, about kayaks, this can be used for autonomous operation of the vehicle. So then the
you can use your phone, but be careful.
Down here is very stable.
Sorry?
Down here is very stable.
Oh, yeah.
Up there,
It's about the same actually. Yeah, no, it just depends on the
Oh, because of the weight, it's 900 kg.
each of these batteries. Yeah,
Very
yeah.
heavy.
Could you walk all the way in? Yeah.
It's charging. How long it take the charge?
Okay, so yeah, okay, so this is the this is the battery compartment room, right? Basically, the batteries are behind you, right? So these are the there's 6 batteries in total, 6 E-pods we call it, right? So this is the white cabinet looking things. Those are the batteries, right? Correct.
White
Those are
one.
the batteries, right? So these batteries are swappable batteries, right? So each side will have 3. There we purposely left 1 empty so you can see the innovation that we did around the connector. Okay, so the connector is just like, you know, it's like, you know, imagine the time before there was USB and the time after there was USB, right? So all these connectors, right, you have to design them, you have to make sure that they fit the purpose of the operation. So our connectors, for example, have to ensure that they can provide coolant, they can provide they can connect with the electricity, and that they can provide communication as well to our systems, right? So our board system can talk to the battery, basically, right? So this is very important. One of the key innovations to making swappable batteries a possibility. In addition, these batteries are very safe, right? So there are 3 levels of redundancy. So at the cell level, they are designed in a way that the fire doesn't spread to each of these cells. In addition, they are encapsulated in these metal containers that suppresses the fire. Last but not least, there's an aerosol fire suppression system, right, that prevents the lithium ion fires from spreading too fast, right, so that the crew can escape, you know, in the event that of a serious battery fire, for example. Right. In addition, I would like you to try to see if you can try to listen for something.
So
Do you hear anything?
Water sound.
Basically, it's very quiet. That's the point. So a lot of these traditional diesel engines, they're very, very loud, right? So even from outside, you can probably hear them. The very humming, the pop, 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 for example. You know, if their engine is not very efficient, for example. So this vessel is very, very quiet, and this improves crew welfare significantly, for example, right? So the crew themselves, they are really they appreciate this kind of environment. They can rest better, and then they manage the vessel better as well, right? So, and this also is something that we want to introduce to the market, so that, you know, even Singaporeans could consider working on board these vessels, for example.
How long the ride can last with 6 batteries?
40 nautical miles is what we are, this first generation, for example, 40 nautical miles. That means it's about 70-75 kilometers out into the sea and back, of course. Then another thing is that it can last about 8 hours to 9 to potentially 12 hours, depends on how you use it, of course, right? So if you speed it at maximum, they probably drain faster, for example.
Right.
So yeah, so these are
charge.
swappable batteries, right? You can take it out, you can charge it on shore, right? So you can
Charge
take your
on shore.
time to charge. And we advise that actually on shore, right? It's cooler, it doesn't drain the battery as fast. Yeah.
Okay.
In terms of life. Leaving it.
So how long does it take to charge? How long does it take to charge?
So it takes about, if we want to slow charge it, so maybe it's about, we are thinking 6 hours, for example.
6 hours.
5 to 6 hours. But it depends on the power rating of the location. It can be 1 hour, but actually we prefer not to. We don't want to heat up the battery, it reduces the life of the battery. But when it's fully charged and we are ready to swap, 15 minutes for the whole set.
Right.
Because we don't need to
15
charge
minutes,
it.
yeah,
It's
correct,
just
correct,
swap,
correct, correct.
for example.
How do you move it that heavy?
Cranes. Yes. Yes, absolutely.
You move the
So there are
cranes.
cranes that can
Come
open the
here.
slots above, and then they can pull it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, no worry. We are in, you know, this is an industrial.
foil?
Yeah. So these are insulation basically, right? So one thing also is even for your home, I would advise you to insulate your home well, because actually insulation helps with cooling and keeping, you know, the cool air in. So if you're on aircon, you insulate your house properly, it doesn't heat up as fast, for example. Right, so it's more energy efficient, right? In addition, this also is protecting against like electrical discharge, for example, right? So these are all metals everywhere, right? So these there's basically fibers behind this to prevent electrical discharge from happening. Yeah,
The other side, exact same.
exact same thing. Yeah. So, another thing is fire retardant. So it helps prevent
doesn't
fires
catch
from
fire.
spreading. Yeah. Okay, thank you. Yeah. Thank you. Careful, watch your step. Please be careful.
Or if you want to have more technical details, you can scan the QR code.